Hi everyone, it's me again, Joseph, your host. Welcome back to our channel and the Catechism for Kids series. On September 24th, the Church honors Saint Gerard Sagredo, the Protomartyr of Hungary. Saint Gerard Sagredo was a bishop and martyr, the Apostle of Hungary, Venetian nobleman, Benedictine monk, prior of San Giorgio, missionary to Hungary, advisor to King Saint Stephen, tutor to Prince Saint Emmerich, hermit, Bishop of Csanád. Writer, reformer, and martyr, murdered by pagans on this day in 1046. Born on the 23rd of April 980 in Venice, Italy, and died by being stabbed to death with a lance on the 24th of September 1046 at Buda, Hungary. He is also known as Gerard of Hungary, Collart, Gellért, and he is the patron saint of Hungary. At baptism, he received the name Jorge and belonged to a family from Dalmatia, which is descended from the Sagredo lineage. At the age of 5, he had a serious fever that his parents implored the grace of St. George to heal. Once cured and he had reached the required age, he entered the Benedictine monastery of San Giorgio, Maggiore on the Maggiore Island in Venice, and in memory of his recently deceased father, he took the name Gerard. After a few years he was elected, prior of the monastery and later abbot, but shortly after he resigned because he wanted to go on pilgrimage to Bethlehem. He left in a ship, reached Zara, from where instead of continuing to the Holy Land, he went to Hungary where he settled. He was persuaded by Saint Stephen of Hungary to work in the evangelization of the Magyars. However, he did not want to stay at the court, and for 7 years he lived as a hermit in the Biel. Later, he was tutor to Prince Saint Emmerich, and in 1035, he was elected the first bishop of Csanád. He worked with the utmost zeal, especially in liturgical observance and in the evangelization of the people. They called him the Apostle of Hungary. During the pagan reaction to the death of King Saint Stephen, he was martyred in Buda, where he was stoned and pierced by spears. Locked in a barrel, he was thrown into the Danube from the top of a hill that today is called Gellért, Mount of Saint Gerard. Gerard had refused to crown idolatrous kings. He wrote several works, among which the commentary on Daniel is the most highly revered. He is considered the Apostle and Protomartyr of Hungary. Most information of Gerard was not preserved in impartial sources, but in his hagiographies. The short life of Saint Gerard, which was composed around 1100, is an abridgment of an earlier biography. The earlier biography did not survive. The short life primarily presents Gerard as a bishop. Majority of scholars regard the short life the most reliable source of Gerard's life. The long life of Saint Gerard is a compilation of multiple sources, including the biography that the author of the shorter legend had also utilized. The long life was completed in the late 13th century or in the 14th century. It was regarded as a source of absolute reliability for centuries, but this view radically changed in the 20th century. Georgi Gheorghe even stated that the long life was a forgery. Historian Gabor Klanice also emphasizes that the longer legend contains obviously anachronistic elements. On the other hand, Carlyle Aylmer McCartney says that the long life preserved the original form of Gerard's earliest and now lost biography. Gerard's own work, the Deliberatio Supra Hymnum Triumphororum, also contain references to his life. Simon of Kes's Chronicle and the Illuminated Chronicle preserved fragments from the common source of Gerard's two lives. A 15th century rhymed version or chant of Gerard's legend was also preserved, but it does not contain more information than the short life. The Holy Roman Emperor, Henry III, invaded Hungary and defeated Aba in the Battle of Menfo in 1044. Peter Orseolo was restored, but his rule was unpopular because he favored his German and Italian retainers. Gerard's martyrdom took place on the 24th of September, 1046, during the Vata pagan uprising. His co-martyrs were Bistric and Boldus. There are various accounts of his death. According to one, he was stoned, pierced with a lance, and his body thrown from the Blocksberg cliff into the Danube. An alternate account claims that he was placed on a two-wheel cart, hauled to the hilltop and rolled down a hill of Buda, now named Gellért Hill. Then, still being alive at the bottom, was beaten to death. Other unverified tales report him as being put into a spiked barrel and rolled down the hill during a mass revolt of pagans. Canonized in 1083, along with Saint Stephen and Saint Emmerich, Gerard is currently one of the patron saints of Hungary, His feast day is the 24th of September. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a month. We overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can accomplish in a decade. Saint Gerard Sagredo didn't make this mistake. He took the long view and influenced the faith of an entire nation. Whatever it is you wish to succeed at in life, personally or professionally, few skills will serve you better than the ability to take the long view. We are surrounded by a short-term, instant gratification mentality in our modern culture. Practice taking the long view. Consider the effects that your actions and commitments will have not only in the present, but also far into the future. Don't underestimate what you can accomplish if you take the long view. Thank you. Now class is dismissed. Hope you learned something from this story. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and be sure to join us soon for another exciting episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you next time, and God bless you always.